our first male student athlete of the month winner for this year, Casey Nelson. He's a senior at Oshkosh West High School, holds a 3.84 GPA, ranks 32nd in his class of 425, and he's competed on both the varsity tennis and football team. Casey, before we dive into the academic side of things, I hear you kind of had a bit of an unfortunate year in football. Talk about the event that saw you fracture your left arm and how that maybe turned into somewhat of a character-building experience.
Well, what happened was it was the last play of the game during our homecoming game, and I was running down the field to tackle the guy that had just intercepted the ball, and I was just about to get him. He jerked me out, and I decided that I would try to chase him. And when he was 15 yards downfield, I decided to slow down, look at the clock, hit 0. The next thing I knew, I was looking at the sky, and I spent the next 3 days in the hospital with 2 broken bones in my left arm and 2 fractures in my right wrist.
Wow.
The ulna was compound, and I was just miserable for about a week. I didn't get to go back to school. It was really a character-building experience because at first I didn't realize how many people were actually there to support me, and then I really realized that who I am and everything, just all of that just came pouring into me, and I just kept working hard, just kept doing what I do, and I've kept up my grades. I'm coming back for tennis. I've already started practicing for tennis.
Sure.
So it's just really been an interesting ride for senior year.
Yeah, it sounds like it. Now, at one point, after this incident, is this when you had the double casts on both your arms, but you still decide to MC your band concert? What led to that decision?
I'm not really sure because I had a cast on both my arms, and I can't hold a saxophone with a pair of casts on. So I wanted to help somehow. I wanted to help the band somehow. So I talked to my band directors, and we all agreed that with a voice like mine that they wanted me to host the event or MC it. And I just went up and I had my cast on under my tuxedo. Nobody could really tell. And I just kind of went for it because I just wanted to help in any way I could.
Sure, that's a pretty inspiring, pretty impressive story. Now, as we said earlier, you carry a 3.84 GPA, which includes AP and UW classes. How much time and effort do you have to devote to your studies on top of sports? It seems like a common question we ask to all of our student athletes of the month.
A lot of time. Even with the sports, I spend an hour or 2 a night at least looking over things or doing homework, getting it done for the next day.
Usually we have a coach join us with the Student Athlete of the Month. However, this time it didn't work into the schedule, but Ken Levine, your football coach, wrote a nice letter of rec on your behalf for this application. It says he's had the opportunity to work with hundreds of young people, and you're right up there with the very best of them. What does that mean to you to hear that praise from a coach? Because your coach doesn't have to sing your praises like that. I'm sure there's plenty of players that have come through the program at one time or another have been in the coach's doghouse. So how nice is it to hear your coach speak that highly of you?
It feels great to have my coach think something like that of me. It's just really great to have a coach think that of me, just to recognize as much as I put in, even though I didn't get to play a whole lot, that he realized that I was leading the team, that I was helping everybody, that I was working as hard as I possibly could to help him.
And where does that drive, that you kind of just mentioned there, that personal drive come from?
Well, part of it comes from my parents pushing me to do well, my brother pushing me to do well. It also comes from knowing that I almost didn't get a chance to do this because I had heart surgery when I was 5 days old.
Wow.
It was
a scary moment.
It was. I don't remember it.
Not that you don't remember it, but I'm sure for your parents.
I don't remember it, but my parents were really scared, and I just think that I want to give back. I want to do everything I can just to work hard and get to where I want to be.
In your essay that you wrote for that Student Athlete of the Athletes of the Year application, you mentioned 3 things: focus, commitment, and leadership that have kind of helped to make you successful. Talk about those 3 things and why they've shaped you into the kind of the young man that you are today.
Well, focus, I really zone in. When I start doing my homework, I really zone into doing my homework. If I'm playing football, that's all I can think about is football. I focus on exactly what I have to do at every exact moment. Same thing with tennis. Commitment, I commit myself to everything that I do. I give everything I've got to everything that I do. So that's the commitment part of it. The leadership is, even though most people think that the best players are always the leaders, I might not be the best player, but I give it everything I can to help everybody else do their best, not just me. I try to get other people to figure out what they're doing so they can perform at the highest that they possibly can.
So I'm going to put you on the spot here. Of those three things, all of them are important. Obviously, all of them are nice characteristics or traits to have. Which one do you think is maybe the most important of those three?
I would say the focus, because without the focus, I couldn't do the other two necessarily. Sure. Just because I need to focus on committing myself to doing things. I need to focus on leading these people to doing the best that they can.
Sure.
So.
All of our Student Athlete of the Month winners have had a nice extracurricular list, if you will. Talk about some of your clubs and volunteer opportunities that you've been a part of.
All right. Well, I'm part of the O'Neill National Honor Society. Okay. I've done a bunch of volunteer things with them, just numerous. I can't even remember how many I've done, honestly. I'm part of the student government. I'm the public relations officer. I was just elected. I was the senator my junior year, the public relations officer. I do the announcements for school every day. I put the board up outside. I ran the pep rally before homecoming this year. Okay. I do a lot of different things just to help the school and all the people in the school.
Upon graduation, which is coming right up around the corner for you, I read that you're planning on staying right here and attending UW Oshkosh. What kind of led to the decision to stay on the home turf?
Well, Oshkosh is my home. My brother's going there. It's really close to home, and the program that I'm looking into, the radio, TV, and film industry, their program is really, really good at Oshkosh, and I realized that after I toured, and I want to really get into that. So,
speaking of the broadcasting, the radio, TV, film program, is it what attracted you to that major specifically, other than the fact that I'm sure you've heard time and time again that you've got the radio, TV voice? Is there something else that drew you to that program?
Well, it was definitely the radio, TV voice, but it was also the just interest in everything. Just I love watching TV shows, figuring out how they're working. I like listening to the radio, just listening to different people talk on the radio and different things. And I'd really like to get into working with that. So.
All right, well, before we let you go, as always, we present our Student Athlete of the Month with a plaque, so congratulations.
All right, thank you.
And we appreciate the time and a pleasure to meet you.
Thank you.